The Cashless Bushfire Crisis. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heise here, and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. If you're a regular fan of the channel, you've seen my videos about the Cashban. It's gone through the House of Reps, Treasury made submissions, KPMG wants it to go down to $2,000, and now the Senate is having an inquiry into it. And people have made submissions there, and we've seen the footage of that. So there's a push for a cash ban. Because frankly, a lot of people don't use cash. You don't need cash. But you do. And we have seen here, sadly, what happens to people during a crisis when they're forced to flee or evacuate and they have no cash on hand. They are resorting to looting, stealing, theft. Doesn't sound very Australian, does it? You wouldn't think it, but this is what happens when the FPOS doesn't work. What do people do? Now, before we get into this, I'm going to ask you in the comments to let everyone know if you have a bug-out bag and what you put in it. Do you have some cash on hand? Do you have a bag you can just pick up, grab, and run if there's an issue? Pay your family. Is it just full of your gold and silver hoardings and you've got nothing else in there? Or in reality, what do you have to prepare in case something like this happens? Because fundamentally, this is showing us two things. One, the cashless system is capable of failing in a disaster, so it's not, it's not unavoidable. And two, people are just not prepared at all for something like this. I mean, how hard is it to have $1,000 cash stashed away in your bug-out bag if you're ready to go in a variety of denominations? How many people even have $1,000 savings in cash? And that's a whole other argument there. So let's jump in and have a look at this. Looting horror as desperate evacuees steal from petrol stations and shops after power outages stop them using credit cards. I mean, that's the thing. Remember, now a lot of you may be too young to remember this, you used to use manual click machines where you put the credit card on there, you get a carbon, you'd click it over. That's why the numbers were embossed. And then you'd sign the piece of paper and that would get sent to the credit card company at the end of the month. How many credit card companies even have those anymore? Or shops even have them? Because that's a workaround for this right there. South Coast residents were forced to steal food and fuel due to power outages. Stores have been left without working ATMs or any fuel due to raging bushfires. Residents were forced to evacuate, but cars have been banked up for kilometres. Bushfire season has seen 17 lives lost and more than 1,400 homes destroyed. Well, here's another thing, the fuel. How many of you have a jerry can of fuel available, ready to top up the car? I mean, it goes off after time, but, you can replace it. There's another consideration. How many of you have a spare battery pack to charge up your electric car? I mean, how the hell is that going to work in an issue like this? That's one thing I always thought. You can get a jerry can there, 20 litres, just sitting in the back of the car, keep you going a bit longer, get to the next town. I mean, that's the thing, guys. There's some advantages to this old tech that works. People don't think about. I'm not surprised they wouldn't think about that because they're not even preparing with any cash. Desperate evacuees have been forced to steal from petrol stations and convenience stores after a series of devastating bushfires caused power outages. South coast of New South Wales has been ravaged by fire within the last few weeks that have caused hundreds of families to evacuate their homes. Susie Mazzoli, a shopkeeper from Sussex Inlet on the state's south coast, said people were stealing food off shelves because ATMs weren't working and people had no money. There you go. Maybe you should just go hungry for a few days. And this is coming from someone who's in the 4th day of my beginning of the year fast. So that may be why these next few videos, next few days, may be a little bit more ranty than normal, guys. A little bit more ranty than normal. In other towns, people were filling up their cars and driving off without paying as they had no cash to spend. Well, there you go. There you go. Are they signing IOUs? Are they saying they'll come back and pay? She said, Miss Mazzoli, who runs her own grocery store, said her town was turned into chaos as holidaying families were taking up resources that locals desperately needed. So they're outsiders. So the city slickers come in the country perhaps for a holiday, and they're stealing stuff. They were stealing from the supermarket because they had to feed the family and they had no money, shopkeeper Sue Mazzoli told the Current Affair. Well, then they can go a couple of days without food. It's not going to kill you. That's a lesson to learn. Come on. That just shows you people are resorting to looting and stealing. They're either not prepared. I mean, you got food at home, you load it in the car. You load it in the car and you go. You prepare, you have a bug-out bag. People were just panicking, especially the kids. The kids were really worried. She said that due to so many travellers trying to leave the area and the power outage, fuel was almost impossible to come by. You can't access petrol, gas run out, chaos at the supermarket, she said. She said the power is expected to be out until Saturday, forcing her son to drop off emergency supplies in the form of gas bottles, a fridge, a generator, a jerry can of fuel. In a petrol station in Batsman's Bay, drivers were forced to wait hours until they could receive fuel, only to find out the ATMs were down. The manager of the petrol station, James Latta, told 7 News around 1 in 8 drivers were driving off without paying, saying it was completely unfair. Well, this is the cashless system we have, guys. It's perfect, no problems. Get your pay ID now so they know everything you do. They couldn't be lowered. It's terrible. They couldn't be lower. It's terrible at this time of year with what's going on. They're taking advantage of these nice people. It's disgusting, one resident said. Police told the manager to close the store, but despite numerous people stealing fuel, he decided to keep it open. On Thursday, in the town of Bermondsey, around 3 hours south of Sussex Inlet, Mayor Kirsty McBain told residents they needed to leave immediately as fires close in. The town's local supermarket closed at midnight on Thursday after it ran out of fresh food, leaving some residents without anything. At a petrol station in Bermondsey, drivers were forced to queue for 4 hours as they waited for a generator to drive the fuel pumps. I feel like I'm a refugee in my own country, one Bermondsey resident told 7 News. Another 91-year-old resident, Ted Hutt, said he was determined to stay in his house despite warnings to leave. He had missed the cutoff for the grocery store and was unable to buy food for himself and his 92-year-old wife. I can understand at that age, you can't be bothered. You know, you're staying there with your wife in your home. What happens? You know, and the cars were queuing for hours to get fuel. More than 1,400 homes have been destroyed. And I'll have a follow-up video to this where we look at warnings from 2015 about unmanageable and increased fuel loads. Those living in and visiting Bermondsey, as well as several other towns along the south coast, have been urged to head towards evacuation centres, including one at Bega. But the road out is proving just as difficult, with cars being banked up for kilometres, sitting in queues for hours, one end without moving. Some managed to drive just 2 kilometres in 3 hours, while others had a 2-hour journey turn into 9. Since October, violent bushfires have claimed the lives of 17 people, and a further 17 are still missing in Victoria. More than 1,400 homes have been destroyed, and hundreds of residents have been forced to evacuate across the country. On Thursday, there were still more than 100 bushfires burning in New South Wales. So here we can look at the overview. So, New South Wales, 15 lives lost, 4 in the past 2 days, 1 person missing, more than 110 bushfires burning, 3.6 million hectares burned, greater than Belgium. Well, Belgium's very small, Australia's very big, guys. 1,298 homes confirmed destroyed. In Victoria, 2 people are dead, 17 missing. 50 fires burning, 766,000 hectares burned, 68 structures confirmed destroyed. Tasmania, 30 bushfires burning, 7 of significance, 8,000 hectares destroyed, 1 home confirmed destroyed. South Australia, 1 person is dead, 20 bushfires burning, 3 of significance, 60,000 hectares burned, 88 homes destroyed. Queensland, 30 bushfires burning, 250,000 hectares burned, 45 homes confirmed destroyed. And Western Australia, more than 30 bushfires burned, 2 of significance, 1.2 million hectares burned, and 1 home confirmed destroyed. So there we have it, guys. This is showing you what is happening in a crisis, in a cashless society. People are resorting to looting. People are resorting to stealing. There you go. So, maybe people need to learn to prepare. Maybe people need to be encouraged to prepare. Maybe cash shouldn't be phased out. And the Cashban is just one step in that journey. So guys, let me know what you think about all of this. Do you think the people acted justly in stealing food? Or do you think they should go hungry for a few days? It's not the end of the world. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to help us produce more content, I have a Patreon where you can make a small monthly donation. We also have membership here on YouTube where you can join and receive access to emojis and badges. We also have affiliate links with Independent Reserve, Amazon, and eBay for your crypto trading or consumer purchases. It's a great way for you to support content creators without incurring any cost for you. We sell our very own pocket squares on the Heise Says blog. Check them out, made right here by my wife Rachel. And finally, we have PayPal if you want to make a direct donation that way. Thank you all very much for your support. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.